Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about our final year project entitled Uwietc. This project came from the Community Engagement and Service Learning Division here at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. For those that don't know, this division is responsible for organizing volunteer events and facilitating service learning activities. They have asked us to come up with a solution to improve the overall efficiency of their everyday work life. This is what we shall now present. The current process, which is manual, consists of the students and organizations contacting the CESL division, where they receive the necessary directions to go forth with the process. For example, take into consideration a student who wishes to start volunteering in chemistry-related events. The student will contact the division and the CESL staff member will then search through their data to find a suitable organization and event. Now, imagine if the CESL staff member has to search through a cabinet of files or Excel spreadsheets. This doesn't make a pretty picture, does it? The proposed system is a web application to provide volunteers, faculties, and organizations an easy and effective way of obtaining information with regards to volunteering for events and service learning activities. The data flow diagram shows the navigation through the system, which will be demonstrated later in the presentation. The main beneficiaries include the Community Engagement and Service Learning Division, students who are interested in volunteering, organizations that need volunteers, and faculties that provide service learning courses. Since the current paper-based system is not as efficient as the stakeholders would like it to be, we believe that the Uwietc software system has a high importance. This is because there is no other system that currently exists to meet the stakeholders' needs. Some features of the Uwietc include showcasing volunteer opportunities to the campus population, having a database for storing and retrieving volunteer and organizations information, tracking volunteering hours, and sending broadcast emails to volunteers. The purpose of the Uwietc include becoming part of an online network that provides information on volunteer and service learning events, giving organizations a resource tool to recruit volunteers for their causes, and lastly, giving CESL the functionality to approve and review all content posted to better manage their environment.
In terms of deliverables and software, the deliverables are project management documents such as status reports or meeting notes, work breakdown and timeline, interim project reports such as project scope document, project timeline and use cases, implementation document, and lastly, the final project report. For software, the Uwietc Access database. The architecture design chosen was a hybrid of MVC and front controller. The MVC pattern separates an application to be divided into 3 components while providing a loose coupling between these elements. This gives us the advantage for parallel development. With regards to the view portion of MVC, a front controller pattern will be introduced to help manage all the views required by the different users. The Uwietc system comprises of a database and a blog component. Each component has its own set of requirements that can be independently worked on. The MVC pattern allows the ability to provide multiple views. Support for asynchronous techniques and modifications does not affect the entire model. The diagram you see here is in relation to the database component that was implemented during the semester. The technology used for software was Microsoft Access. For programming languages, VBA, ASP, SQL, PHP, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Python were all used. This sequence diagram shows the interaction between the user and the software system in order to search for volunteers with a specific special skill. From the home page, the user will select the volunteer menu and from there, select the filter by skill option. Once the skill has been chosen, the system queries the database for the volunteers who have the selected skill. The results are then shown, and if there are no results, a display message will appear stating that no results were found. This sequence diagram shows the interaction of the administration users and the software system in order to create a new event. As the user clicks on the event menu from the home page, various options will be shown. The user then selects the Create Event Form option and enters the required information. Once the form has been submitted, a display message will appear stating that the event was created.
Here we have the main menu, where the system operator can access various sub-menus geared towards managing the affairs of volunteers, events, and organizations alike. In the volunteer menu, the operator can perform various tasks. Firstly, he can register a new volunteer into the system. We can then view a report of all the volunteers registered in the system. As you can see, the volunteer that we just entered is already saved in the system. We can then filter volunteers based on specific criteria such as faculty, by skill, by hobby, and by volunteer interest. In the event menu, similar to the volunteer menu, the operator can perform various tasks. Firstly, you can register a new event. Then a report of all the events created can be seen. We can also view a report of all the old events, all the upcoming events, and all the events created by a specified organization. Finally, in the organizational menu, you have two options. You can create a new organization and you can view a report of all the organizations registered in the system. Various combo boxes were used throughout the system to minimize the amount of information the user can freely enter. This is used to minimize errors. Also, fields were made to only accept certain data types, so if an incorrect data type is entered, an error will be thrown. As you can see in the image to your right, where student ID was made to accept only integers, and if a letter is entered, then an error will appear on the screen.
The test case and screenshot indicate how we tested our data in-house when we were creating the Uwietc software system. With regards to user evaluation, we were able to conduct a demo meeting in which the stakeholders were allowed to interact with the system to ensure it met its initial requirements. The test plan conducted showed that 8 out of 11 test cases were successful. To follow up with this, at our close-off meeting, they expressed satisfaction with our progress after showing them the completed changes.
The future plans for the Uwietc project includes the implementation of a fully functional web application. Some features include data entry through web pages, administrative users being allowed to approve of hobbies, special skills, and interests that have been entered in the volunteer sign-up form, providing templates for download so that users can customize and upload them, posting and archiving articles posted by users, and having tags attached to articles and events.